What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title was going down. Make sure y'all to like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it in the title. Let me tell y'all something. So y'all know we had put out the video about Sunny Hostin interview. On what happened, with Charlie Kirk. My thing is, with this whole thing going on, what I do find crazy is the simple fact that you have, it's one of those things. It's one of those things like, we are going to say, we're praying for his family and, this is bad that this happened, this, that, and the other, but then go and y'all are the same people that has been for a minute. Y'all know I've been doing these videos on The View for a while, and I mean a while, some years. And, seeing how they're acting, now, and then I'm not going to put the full blame on The View, but they are part of the problem. I'm going to definitely say, and others, when it comes to, the left. But one thing about it is that their words and what they say obviously are the reason on why a lot of people act the way that they act. I'm being so y'all know I'm gonna be 100 with y'all. You see it all the time. This video in particular, I'm gonna show y'all some clips, just like this clip and Navarro, and then I'm gonna show y'all another clip of what she said, on the actual, on the View show. But this is the type of things that I'm talking about. Check out what Navarro says right here.
I want them shut down. I want them silenced. I want them muted. I think they are horrible for our society.
So when you saying things like this, and y'all can find this video, it's at Iggy B70. On X, and y'all can see this clear.
I want them shut down. I want them silenced. I want them muted. I think they are horrible for our society.
You literally saying things like that. People literally, and I talked about this in my last video, people will take that in a different way, especially people, and I'm not, again, making up excuse for anybody, but people deal, with that, mentality that's like, we need to make this happen. You have these little groups, and you have, people that's in these groups that actually act, in this way. I don't know if y'all seen the one video that I put out, but it's about the video of the person that, that did that to Charlie Kirk, in the group that he was with. I'm telling y'all. But check out this, behind the table with Anna Navarro, and check out what she says here, y'all.
In this country. We talked about the horrible news about conservative activist Charlie Kirk after he was shot and killed on a Utah college campus on Wednesday. What was your reaction to this? What were you shocked to hear it?
Yeah, I was at lunch yesterday, and the news came out when I was at lunch, and yeah, it's shocking. And it is a very sad day today because
it's also 9/11, of course.
24 years. Yeah. Since 9/11, it's a day when we all take time to remember those almost 3,000 lives that were lost that day. But it's a very different day, right? Because 9/11, we were being attacked by foreign terrorists who wanted to bring down this country. And what we've seen in these slew of political violence and assassination attempts and assassination now is Americans turning on Americans, even though we don't know the motive yet. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot that we don't know. So it's very concerning, and we keep seeing it, right? Just in the last, few months, in the last year, we've seen the assassination attempt against Donald Trump. We've seen the 2 legislators in Minnesota that were shot to death. We're seeing this, Paul Pelosi's head getting bashed in.
Josh Shapiro's house was lit on fire.
Josh Shapiro getting lit on fire. It's one after the other. And then, I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that it will become what I sadly feel school shootings have become, where
which there was one yesterday, by the way.
Where there was one yesterday, in Colorado. Yeah. And where it's almost
numb.
The new normal.
Yeah.
It is almost the new normal. And then.
But I feel like they're also not holding, the party, of the left accountable. You know what I mean? Because when you talk about these school shootings, when you talk about, they always, I've heard it multiple times. I've heard it so many times that, even family members of mine that will say, I wouldn't be surprised, if they were on the right, and they talk about guns and this, that, and the other, and then come to find out has a lot to do with the left. And that's my thing. Like Anna Navarro is explaining, yes, sadly, I don't want it to become the new norm or anything like that. But at the same time, bro, you got to start holding people accountable for the things that they've been saying, especially herself. It's pretty crazy.
For a few hours or a few days, we get introspective when we condemn it, but then nothing changes in the long run. So we've got to figure out what those changes are that need to be done in the long run and actually make them. When it comes to things like this, and it's things you've seen in different decades in this country. Certainly in the '60s, where we saw Martin Luther King and RFK and JFK and others get assassinated.
Joy talked about that today, and it's not comforting, isn't the right word, but knowing that we've had periods of history like this and come out of it, I guess, is a silver lining, the idea that maybe we're not condemned for things to continually get worse. But
I want people who live through that, who learn the historical lessons, to tell us what those lessons are and to somehow help us get past this. I was very discouraged yesterday, though, because, at a time when in the House of Representatives, so people who represent the American people who are elected were reacting to this, a fighting match broke out on the floor of the House of Representatives as they were calling for a minute of silence and prayer. I mean,
this is exactly what I'm talking about, of not holding people accountable when it comes to things like this. She's mentioning this, says a moment of silence was requested on the floor of Congress in honor of political, assassination victim Charlie Kirk, and Democrats lost their minds and erupted in chaos. Pretty sure I heard Jasmine Crockett. So this is what I mean by, going and holding people accountable for their actions. She said in the House, she didn't say any names. She didn't say Democrat. She didn't say nothing. Of course, they're not. I'm not surprised, and I'm sure y'all not either. But this is, a prime example of what I'm talking about.
What
this
purpose is the gentlelady from Colorado
right, y'all?
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order.
So this is what, she's referring to, but it's stuff like that. It's things like that. And of course, not surprised on why, she's not going to say any names. She's not going to say, the Democrat, she's not going to say that. So, it's just one of those things. But what I'm trying to say is that accountability it plays a big part in a lot.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. If we can't all stop and for 1 minute stop finger pointing, at least for 1 minute, at least for one day, stop finger pointing, and think about the fact that 2 very small children have been left fatherless. And think about the things that are going on in this country. But I will also tell you, I have higher expectations for those elected in Congress and the example they're setting for the country. I have higher expectations for the President of the United States. I was very glad to see that all living presidents of different parties, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Joe...
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You literally have her, when it comes down to stuff like this, then she wants to call these names out, but then don't want to call the names out of people that are doing wrong. Only when they're doing right. I'm telling y'all, bro. That's
Biden, Barack Obama, all came out condemning violence and calling for national unity. I mean, it's those with the bigger bully pulpits and the bigger offices and the have, to me, the bigger duty to call for our better angels.
Absolutely. No, it's horrific. It's really the only way to look at it. The way it happened, the circumstances, how young he was, the family he had, everything else. And listen, it's
Brian, you know this. I do a lot of public speaking.
Yeah.
I do a lot of public speaking in colleges and universities. I have had instances where I've had to walk into universities. I remember doing a speech at UVA a few weeks after the Charlottesville demonstrations, and walking in with a security force like if I was walking into a war zone. I remember, I've done many speeches where there's been this sense of insecurity, and that's just ridiculous.
And Charlie had security. I mean, that's the thing. It's not even it's a scary world, and it's a scary circumstance.
And I really want the law enforcement to get to the bottom of it. I really want us to learn
exactly what happened,
who the person is, the motive, who was behind it, because I know nothing except what law enforcement has put out. So I have questions that I think the entire nation wants answered.
And hopefully answers will help bring us together. I'm hoping, because I think every sensible person will decry it. I mean, again, it's just, this isn't what we think the country is supposed to be. It's not yet. No, it's not yet.
And it's not bringing us together. Yeah. You look at social media, it's not bringing us together.
I'm hoping
you look at the
will.
reactions of people in Congress, it's not bringing us together. People are blaming each other.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that answers will bring clarity.
It ain't more so of blaming each other. It's just a simple fact of like, it's one of those things that happen on how much, when it comes to the left, being so violent and inciting violence. And Anna Navarro is the same person who called Trump supporters, and things like that, Nazis and stuff like when it comes to stuff like that, and you're saying stuff like this on live television, saying little remarks about Trump supporters, people that support Charlie Kirk, when you're doing stuff like that, and then you come to find out that a shooter or somebody that has done something really bad comes from the left, I mean, who else is it to blame? It's just one of those things that I'm telling y'all, bro. It just doesn't sit right with me. I mean, you have, this is a nurse at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, who literally said, F his kids, F his ancestors, especially the B word who birthed him, has literally been fired, literally made a post. So the post is literally right here. It's literally nothing, that I'm lying about or anything like that. Says Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is aware of inappropriate comments made on social media by an employee yesterday. This type of rhetoric is unacceptable for children's employees and violates our social media policy. The employee has been terminated. So one thing about it is that a lot of employees are being terminated for the, getting on. And one thing about it, I'm going to tell y'all something. When it comes down to this, freedom of speech, and everybody, has a voice, this, that, and the other, I feel like it's more so of being respectful about stuff too. It is sad, regardless. It's still a human being at the end of the day, somebody who had, obviously putting out facts, opinions on, how he felt, as a person, going and talking, debating, individuals, and putting knowledge in people's head. Not only is he putting knowledge in people's heads, but people putting knowledge in his head about things. I've seen different clips and different things. I feel like so many people run the social media, and that's just like people that's on, that I see. I've never seen. The crazy thing is, there's so many people that that I'm not gonna say they're my friends, but people that I followed that were my friends on Facebook and stuff like that, and I feel like they have something to say. And my thing is those people never have mentioned Charlie Kirk, never have mentioned anything political, but since it's people that's putting out these little clips, and not putting the whole clips, and them seeing little things and them not knowing nothing, they automatically run and go with it, follow, their friends' lead or follow a family member's lead and put out different things, and that is what, is crazy to me. Not even knowing who Charlie, truly was, and what he was about. And that's the sad thing about it. It definitely is sad. And I don't really like that, at all. This in particular, this video right here, I do have to block out some curse words within this video. So if y'all see me typing, it's literally me typing the words that this person is saying. But this just goes to show you on what I've been talking about up the left, you know, when it comes to inciting violence and, you know, the people acting out, especially people that really don't know what's going on. Just somebody that wants to get on the internet, wants to talk crazy, wants to say this and wants to say that. And I'm telling y'all, it's very childish. It's very disrespectful. And I'm telling you, very ignorant. Check out what she says.
My homie dead. My homie dead. He got shit in the head. My homie dead. Yeah, my homie dead.
Evil is real, people, and it kind of looks like that. Evil. Evil. Is bad. She is evil. Have not said. Why are you being so hateful?
Why are you so hateful? Why are you so hateful? Why are you so hateful? Yeah.
Hey, can somebody tell her to back up?
Can you not put the camera in my face?
I'm sitting here. You walked up to me.
Okay, well,
I don't want this. I said rest in peace.
And I can
Just leave it alone. Please don't come after me.
You've been
I want to be left alone.
I'm not emotional, ma'am. Don't tell me what I am and what I'm not. You can get out of my face because I could tell you what you are, but you won't like it.
You're being aggressive. You're being aggressive.
I'm not being aggressive. My voice is very calm. You're calling me aggressive because I'm a black woman.
Not at all.
No, we're not. I'm very calm right now. You bring race.
You're calling me aggressive because I'm a black woman. That literally has nothing to do with race. If you're aggressive, then you're aggressive. That literally is the most insane thing to me, bro. The most insane thing to me. They always want to put this, oh, I'm a black woman, I'm a black man, so you think I'm this and you think I'm, bro. Like, y'all got to kill it with that, bro. Like, that.
I'm out. Why are you?
Come on now.
Like racing at me. No, I just said I don't want to talk to you.
I just don't want. I don't want.
She did, in fact, get arrested. And I know a lot of people was in the comments, asking why she got arrested. There is another clip of this video. She actually put her hands on, the guy that y'all seen in this video. And I'm glad she got arrested. Now she's sad in the face and looking confused, all because of her being aggressive. Her being aggressive for no reason. It's one thing about it. If you want to talk about something and give your points, give your opinions on something, then you can do that calmly. I have no reason. I literally have family members, friends, people that, that talk to me about how they feel about a situation, and I'll talk to them. It should be no aggression. It shouldn't be no, disrespect. That is, the things that she was saying is very disrespectful, bro. I don't care what anybody has to say, regardless, when it comes to stuff like that, because it's disrespectful. At the end of the day, that's a human being. A father, a husband, a son, a child of God. So, doing stuff like that, completely unnecessary. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe. I definitely appreciate y'all. Let me know y'all comments and thoughts on this video. Stay tuned for the next one dropping, though. Definitely a banger. Catch y'all next one.